Welcome back, everyone, to VCT Americas as we close off our first day of the final week of the regular season. We're joined here by our two coaches today. You got Coach Adam, Coach Immi. Thank you guys so much for joining us here today. Congratulations on the win as well. I guess the first thing, I wanted to ask you is about, Crew's, I guess, downward spiral over the last few weeks and the recent rise that Crew has seen. What would you attribute that to? Was it scrimming? Was it talking? Was it hard conversations? What would you say put Crew in the position that they're in right now?
I remember the last time I was here, I spoke about seasons, about seasoning, and we were winning everything by that time.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we get into a season when we start losing. But it's just not the result that we have in the game. It's also what happens behind the stage, like on a daily basis. So by that time, the team went in a different way of behaving on relationships, on the way they were a team.
Yeah.
So lately we have been working mostly on that, trying to shift the way of dealing with things, the way of being a team outside the game. So the team was stronger for this split, but we had those issues that we changed IGL and MTA and so. And finally we had time to practice with MTA mostly, and I think that was something that boosted us a lot today.
Yeah, and he was playing great today.
Yeah. And I don't know, honestly, I didn't felt as we play a good version of Cloud9, and I think that helped us.
Yeah.
We were coming stronger. Maybe they didn't have their best game, and that combination, I think, made us win today.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, let's talk about that. I mean, you had a pretty, upfront interview with Riv right before Map 1, Coach Immi, about what was going on with, the boys. And I think Adam kind of illustrates it perfectly well, too. Coaching is more than just, looking at things. It's in being like, oh, yeah, you got to make this play. No, there's a lot of interpersonal relationships that you have to manage as well. Players' personalities, all that stuff. I mean, how much of that do you feel you can relate to?
Pretty much everything. I've seen it just before. Sometimes analysts say oh, they're doing this wrong and they're doing that wrong, but you don't understand everything that's going on.
For sure.
And even being a player, there's so many things happening in the game and so much you have to think about, and that's what separates the good players. But as for the interview, that's nothing I haven't said before.
Oh no, for sure. I mean, if anything, I think it illustrates your passion, firstly, but it also illustrates the what you're looking for from your players here, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I'll just say I'm not innocent on this.
For sure.
I'm not perfect, but we do need to be better. And we're focusing on it, but it just doesn't seem to be clicking. And honestly, maybe we focused on it a little bit too much in the off-season.
Yeah.
Because the Breach meta came out, Breach Gecko, and then we were trying to play structured, and we went away from our play style. Because in Split 1, we played a little bit loose. We abused smokes. We didn't follow the meta. I think we had 2 meta comps. But the rest of them, we played our game. And then as soon as this meta shifted, we tried to go straight to the meta. We played Neon, we played Breach.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it just hasn't suited us. So it's all about now trying to go back, but also trying to improve the team play of taking ones.
Yeah. You both of your teams have a fascinating storyline. If you think about the year, both of you were at the very top of Americas, come in the break, and then the struggles that you guys have had have been considerable since. I mean, you guys just won your first series of the second stage. You guys did last week against NRG. You talked, Immi, a little bit about how the meta has changed and how we're introducing a lot more of Neon, and there was a little bit of ISO stuff at the beginning, but even bigger than that, I would love to get your thoughts on what would you say is the biggest difference from stage 1 to stage 2?
I think the biggest difference that people don't realize is most of the good teams are now all in the same. We're playing all the hard matches right now.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for us, we're not playing well. But
it's the group distribution.
We're playing Sentinels. We're playing G2. Crew. We're playing all the teams who did well in Split 1.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think people don't take that into account.
Yeah.
I think also something really important is the time, because now the team has already one split over their shoulders. And at least for us, that we are from a long, far away from home, it's hard an extra way that we have to deal with, because the players also miss their families, miss their stuff. They have no friends here, no different culture, no anybody.
Yeah.
So it's something that is hard to deal with. And also another thing is the meta change. That we are also a team that doesn't care about meta. Like, we try to play our game, but lately we have felt like the race is weaker, the Viper is weaker, this agent is weaker, this agent is weaker. So in a way you're forced to change because things doesn't work as they used to work. So dealing with a mix of all of those things is really hard.
How challenging has it been to adjust for this meta? Because it feels like no one's really figured it out, and there's so much happening. I think a lot of people feel like, oh yeah, Neon's really strong, but outside of that, I mean, it feels like no one really has like a clear idea of like what the best thing is, like what we saw back in the day with like the chamber stuff and whatnot. Do you feel like that, coupled with the time, also create like the time that you had in between Shanghai and then also here, moving into the stage, how quite frankly, this stage has been really short. It's only a few weeks, you know, as opposed to last time. Do you feel like all that kind of compounded to create, you know, like this sense of, you know, doubt and concern in your respective camps?
I mean,
whoever wants to go first.
Yeah. I think Breach was a big thing for us. Like, everyone's playing Breach, but we had Rooney on Breach, and it's like, okay, we got one of our best aimers sat there with util in his hand.
Yeah.
Like, why are we doing this? Why are we going away from what we're doing? And also, like, for us, we won so much, and I think 100 Thieves spoke about this as well, where we won so much and then tell players like, oh, you shouldn't take ones, you should play in post plan. When you're winning, it's a lot harder to listen to each other or to listen to coach, even though you're
the guidance.
And I think that's been an issue for us as well.
Adam, would you guys say that's been a struggle in your camp as well? This, like, when you're winning, you're not really keen or interested on making adjustments or, you know, maybe necessarily listening to guidance or things like that because, well, I mean, what the heck, you're winning, why change it?
Yeah, I think that it's difficult to make changes when you're winning because you don't want to break it. Like, you don't want to move something that you're not supposed to move, and because of that, like, bring bad times for the team. But about the meta, I feel as Riot is trying to, my idea, that is Riot is trying to make every agent balance, like to be able to play any composition. But I feel sometimes I think that maybe they are nerfing or buffing agents just based on that agent, but not thinking about the combination of
how it combines with other things.
Yeah, with other agents.
Yeah.
For example, the Race Viper thing, both were nerfed, and that doesn't shift you the way to play a map. I mean, because of that, now you have to rethink how you're going to play a map.
Yeah.
Not how you're going to play the agent.
Yeah.
So at the end, I feel as it's hard. I mean, it's really hard to find like the path between all of those things.
Yeah.
I also think you don't get enough time.
Yeah.
Even though
we were talking about that.
It's just not enough time to fix it. And then even with Abyss coming out, I don't know what teams are going to play Abyss, but if you think about it, you're not allowed to practice Abyss because, well, you've still got Split to play.
Right.
And then you've got 3 days to go into playoffs, and how are you going to play Abyss? When teams play Abyss, it might just be a mess.
Yeah.
You guys, you mentioned Abyss. That's going to be showing up in playoffs. Both of you have qualified for playoffs, and I think I would love to get from both of you your thoughts on what are some of the strongest points, or if there's maybe just one that you feel like is the strongest point of Cloud9, the strongest point of Crew, heading into playoffs, knowing the champs is the goal. What is that?
The strongest point for us, which is something that we're working on, is just split one, cause chaos. Yeah. We are unbelievably good when we cause chaos.
Yeah,
so we need to find a way to to cause chaos and pull teams into our game instead of allowing them to just sit back.
It's funny that you say that.
I've said that a lot of times on the podcast too.
Well, it's funny you say that. We were watching the match and we were watching Split, and it felt like it was getting messier and messier and more chaotic, to use your word. And Bala specifically said, this is getting messier and more chaotic, and that heavily favors Cloud9 the more this goes on. So I think that's something he would agree with.
Yeah. What about for you? What Coach Adam, what do you think is the big thing about Crew that is, going to that you feel like is going to get them to champs in Korea?
I think that we are a really momentum-based team. Sometimes the team is emotional in the bad way. That is something that I think is more controlled now. But that also has like the positive part, because once we start winning rounds or winning matches as today, that really buffs the team. For example, MTA had his best match today, and I know that that will be something really strong for him going into playoffs. Yeah. Because now he feels like I did it. Finally, I was able to perform. Also in scrims, he's performing really well. And everyone, like Melzer is back into IGLing, and he's doing really well. Kesnit is back on trying to play mid rounds, and he did really well. So I feel that let us win, or as we go, like, I don't know how to say, like having wins after win after win after win. It's gonna be like a positive snowball for us. I like that. I mean, if there's one thing, both your teams always entertaining to watch, and we're looking forward to seeing what you guys could do in playoffs for sure. So best of luck to the both of you. Both locked in, regardless of what happened today. You're both in, you know. But let's go ahead and take a look though at the first day of Week 4 as we come to a close. Here are your standings as they are right now. Crew Visa get that victory over Cloud9. They will be moving on to 6-4, but their future is very much contingent on what happens in that Sentinels G2 esports match. So will be happening later on in the weekend. You also still have 100 Thieves left to play. You're going to see Leviathan take the stage as well. There's Leviathan's safe, but there's going to be some movement potentially. Yeah,
and the banger of Fury MIBR. I can't freaking wait to watch that.
Hey, you never know. You never know. Well, actually, no, we had that one last week. This week, I think, is going to be Furia, MIBR, EG, and then Furia and Leviathan. You were late a week there on that one. But yes, those are your matches lined up for tomorrow. EG, MIBR, and then your second matchup, Leviathan, Furia. As both teams, well, for MIBR and EG, they're going to be fighting for, just for the dub, and for Leviathan, just continuing to set themselves up for success as they move on to the playoffs. But fellas, I want to thank you all so much for your time. Get back to your teams and have some conversations. But of course, I'm hoping to, chat with you guys more throughout the playoffs. So best of luck there. And thank you all for watching and putting up with us on this ridiculous day. We had fun. We had fun today. We tried to have fun. It was it was a little silly, but it was a great match across the board, though. That being said, we are going to be back tomorrow with plenty more Valorant. You don't want to miss it. This is VCT Americas, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Have a good one. It's the final week of the regular season, and to kick things off, you got Cloud9 versus Crew Visa. C9, they win this, they're swimming pretty. For Crew Visa, this is a momentum game and an opportunity for them to write the course that this stage has been on.
Over the top, this is sneaky. Not expected at all. All this for the round win. It comes down to the wire shy. Up and above! Oxy delivers the death blow. Zalir out wide, just trying to face this one, but again, a little bit of a warm-up, isn't it, for just Kesnit and Heat collecting up all the kills. Zephyr still finds the one and the second. Rattled and firing off. Turret popped up, popping heads. Down to the 1v1. Oh, no wins. 13-7. Final scoreline here for Crew Visa. Potentially the onslaught is coming in their direction. Cloud9, guns in hand. It's a rapid retake, though, of that main control just from Crew. Oh, my! I mean, knocked them all over. It's the last one left with this clear, and it's a satchel peek from Heat. It's beautiful. In motion, this guy cannot be denied. It's Rooney, Sheriff, in hand. There's no one to make it sing. Out through the back of the side, though. The rifles are going to be prevailing. Crew, they dismiss them. That's a 2-0 fashion. And today, we said it was going to be a bit of a test, a bit of a seed of form heading into that playoff run. Crew looking on fire.